Yo, what's good? It's your brother Yafel Balagoon back at you one more time. Got a real situation going on, going on today. We want to really discuss some history. As you know, as you can tell, I got Erick Khafre right here with me. He right here with me. We're gonna talk a little bit. Want to talk a little bit about Black history. Obviously, since today is or this month, I should say, is February. So we're gonna have our February conversation. What is Black history? What's the importance of it? All that type of stuff. What's maybe contradictory about it? What may not be contradictory about it? I don't know which direction we're gonna go, but we're gonna have that conversation about Black history. You know what I'm saying? So do me a big favor in the process. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, subscribe. That way we can keep this going. How you doing today, Eric Khafre?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, okay, cool. We was talking about, offline. We was talking about the importance of Black history, or talking about at least our experiences with Black history, like programs and things since we was kids. And I don't know, everybody had different perspectives about it. But what's your perspective, if I may ask, on Black history?
hmm it's a number of perspectives because really, as the great Arthur Schomburg told the great John Henry Clark, uh, what you call it Negro here, or what you call it Black history is the missing page of world history. So it's a lot that can be said about this. We'll be on here for 2, 3, 4 days straight. But to get to the title of why Black history was created. And my from how I see it is always it was created because the great Carter G. Woodson wanted it to be created. I don't look at it from a standpoint of you know when people say, oh, they gave us the shortest month. I guess they make them sound smart or some shit. They gave us the shortest month of the year to celebrate our history, blah blah blah. That always tickled me because Carter G. Woodson clearly chose February on his own in 1926. Um, and so, but to get with Carter G. Woodson, uh, Carter G. Woodson, of course, was born to parents who were in chattel slavery. I always say chattel slavery. Chattel enslavement. A lot of people say slavery like it's something that's done with or some shit, but it's alive and well. It just looks better now. Slavery is on TNT, it's on TBS, it's on BET, and it's every goddamn word. But
Is that the NBA?
yeah, it's on there with Chuck and Shaq and them kind of jokers. It's on Super Bowl Sunday. When you got niggas crying because because the national anthem is on and some motherfucker who can't sing is singing it. And Joker gets so emotional about that racist, filthy, nasty ass, irrelevant ass world national anthem. They get, you got niggas crying about that. That's slavery right there. But the chattel slavery is what Carter G. Woodson parents was born in. And so, of course, because the era they was in, he had to work hard to assist and help with the needs of his family. And of course, he didn't even enroll in high school till he was 20 years old.
What?
You know.
Let me ask you a question. So we talking about Black History Month started with Carter G. Woodson. Do you know
Mhm.
what time frame he was born in?
Yeah, he was born December 1860,
Oh
1860. I
wow!
mean, 1875. Excuse
Oh wow!
me. Yeah. Yeah. December 18th, be exact, 1875. hmm
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
by then in the 20s, which was really that Harlem Renaissance time period for the most part. Wow. So that probably played an influence. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off and go
No,
on
no,
my
no,
own little
no,
tangent.
no. That's before the Harlem Renaissance. Really, that was more of the 30s and 40s and shit. I mean, it was. I
Yeah.
mean, the
So I
Harlem
know the Harlem.
Renaissance. Yeah,
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
the Harlem Renaissance. It was growing at that time. Uh, during the time, that's still in the garden. The UNIA, Universal Negro Improvement Association. Uh, so that was doing that. It was still doing that time, of course. And then just when he founded Black History Week, which turned into Black History Month, because our good white friend Gerald Ford, the president at the time, uh, insisted that we make it a national holiday, a celebrated month. But Carter G. Woodson's research and his writings came before even the UNIA and all that era. The era of Booker T. Washington and him writing up from slavery and all that. It comes even before that time. When he was working in the coal mines at age 17, 18. He actually collected stories from the elders and those who were in the coal mine working. Because he was young working in them, but you had people in their 40s and 50s working in the coal mines. And so he would collect their stories, right, of what their experience was during Reconstruction and the enslavement process, right, and so later on, in 1916, he constructed and supervised the Journal of Negro History. So you had all this prior to uh, Black History Week, right? He was doing all of this. And he wrote all those articles that will later be known as a book, The Miseducation of the Negro. But those what's in The Miseducation of the Negro are actually articles that he wrote, but they were turned into a book, Miseducation of the Negro. And of course, before he wrote that, all the history stuff, he'd do his research, his personal findings, and all that. He wrote The Education of the Negro prior to 1861. Okay? Is it right here? And so, so miseducation Negro is popular, but before that, he wrote the Education of the Negro. Okay, so to give us a basis of what was going on during that time, uh, other than, us being denied the 40 acres and the pit bull. And so, yeah, and so that's what, he had been writing and bringing these things out in history that had been talked about, the achievements and the will and the woes of African people in America, even prior to 1926. But when 1926 came, and this is out of this is not me saying this, it's somebody born in the 80s. Carter G. Woodson said that it told someone that, the reason he came up with the concept of a Negro History Week is not to basically be studying nothing but what's going on in the past, and you could learn about your history and be proud and wear afro and Tasiki and shit like that. But he came up with this philosophy, this concept, because he understood that Black people's history is a thing of the present. It's not just a thing of the past. It's an ongoing process. So he wanted to recognize the achievements of Black people every year, right? So if it wasn't no achievements throughout the year, he said we weren't gonna talk about no goddamn Black History Week. What the hell are we doing right now? So Black History Week was not even about the past. All right. In fact, I think his oldest is it Anderson, Dr. I have to get the great scholar name. I want to say his last name is Anderson. But he have a quote once, it's just in saying that history is not even about the past. History is about the future. History is not about the past. History is about the future. And that's why I tell people all the time, we look at history, and I'm gonna get to critical race theory in a minute, right? That since we are so upset about this shit. Black people. I'm talking about our people now. I'm like Carter. I'm stepping in Carter G. Wilson's shoes right now. Because he had, in much as the success he wanted to talk about of African people, Not necessarily that he want to talk about the failures, but he want to talk about the contradictions and how can we improve and things of that nature. But we got this thing that a lot of us are not interested in our history as much because we look at it like history is a bunch of black and white fields with police and dogs chasing people and water hoses and we are not afraid and Ku Klux Klan and talking about hanging a nigga. This is how we look at history. But I tell people all the time, look at history like this. Really, you're not looking at it like this. This is a universal fact. History is everything that has ever happened in the existence of existence. History is everything that has ever happened. That's what history is. History ain't got nothing to do when you see some on PBS and they showing Martin Luther King getting hit in the head or something. They showing somebody getting killed or, Medgar Evers. These are great men, but I'm just saying, this is not what history is. History goes everything that has ever happened, right? That's why Elijah Muhammad said history is most qualified to reward our research. History is more qualified than anybody to reward your research. But history is not about the past, it's about the future because the past is the present and the present is the future. Okay? Yeah, high jokers get on child support because they had dinners with somebody they wasn't gonna go a long way with. That's how you got it. So what you did when you were 19 has an effect on his tax season, right? It has an effect on your damn taxes, your tax outcome, your tax refund at 30 and 40, 50 years old. What you did in 1920. So history is not about the past, it's about the future. All right. And so Carter G. Woodson concept was, no, we gonna examine every year the success of African people, and we gonna examine what that means to the overall African community. And so that's why it was created. It had nothing to do with they gave you the shortest month of the year, which to me, I like to show the critical side. I mean, I like to deal with the critical analysis, right? Criticism, not just for me to be critical, but I'm not one, I'm not one that I always want to point the finger and that black people are always the damn victims. Because here we are yelling about, they take the history out of the schools in Florida, as though Florida is some damn off-brand of America, and that the racist politicians and representatives, state representatives in Florida are the evil, the cream of the crop of the evildoers, and the other states, they all right. So we play this role. Oh, they taking it out of school. I wouldn't want my child to go to school in Florida, yada, yada, yada. But guess what? Your ass ain't teaching your child about nothing historical in Dallas. So what's all the damn fuss about? What's all the fuss about? Oh, they don't want to teach our kids this, that, the third. They gave us the shortest month in the year. We whining about all this shit. But what are we doing? Just as Carter G. Woodson said, what are we doing during this time? Other than wearing the clothes and shit. Oratorical content. People speaking, you have these pop-ups on these damn shit. I feel like these damn campus commercials are doing both for Black History and some of us. They pop the little red, black, and green on TV and, they show all the little shit. Then they had your basketball players with their warm-ups with I Am Black History and dust and so on their shit. I feel like they're doing more than what we are doing. When we go into the Black household, when we talking with our family, what discussion about Black success or failures is involved in that discussion? You tell me. I don't see it. I see more children from other cultures interested in what our history got going than I see that we do. And some people, that might not be a popular opinion for some people. We always feel like we attacked, right? But if you are attacked and pushed in that corner like you and Bobby, you said about the Black Panther, if you are pushed in that goddamn corner, are you going to defend yourself? Are you going to defend your own interests? What are you going to do? Sit and whine about it, but you overlooking the shit yourself. You overlooking it. Your damn self. You're not interested. You see what I'm saying? The school ain't interested in teaching you because they're pushing you into a certain interest in life that's taken away from what you really supposed to do. But then when you get home, You ain't interested in home either. Your parents ain't damn interested. Because again, we looking at we looking at our history, the most diverse history in the history of the world. We looking at this shit from a black and white film with dogs chasing people. And somebody getting up, oh, I don't want to watch that. I get pissed off. Oh, I can't watch this shit. You know, I get upset if I see this or I see that. There's other parts of history you need to examine. Okay? Besides that, since you get so pissed off, you get so revved up about what's going on a damn civil rights movie or what the hell ever. What is our obligation? What is our obligation to our own people, our community? What is our own interest? How do we delve into what our interest is? Not what the television say your interest is, not what the Democrat or Republican Party tell your interest is. You see what I'm saying? Not what the history books in the public food system tell your interest is. What the hell is our interest according to our historical analysis? That's what we got to have. And our people, do we really want that? Okay, so we talk about critical race theory, which is a contradiction. It challenges the theory that racism is not non-institutional, that it's just about individualism. Hell, we get mad about critical race theory, and some of our people see critical race theory as what they say it is. See? I don't believe in pointing the finger. You have you got leeway in life to do whatever the hell you want. If you want to remain enslaved, you want to remain living your life based off somebody else's premises, you have by all means the right to do so. But don't blame them because you didn't decide to say, hey, you know what? I want to meet these challenges. I want to get up and can make a contribution my damn self. I don't give what they did. But we talk about critical race theory. We look at critical race theory like the same way. You ask people why they don't like Donald Trump because he's racist. What? Joe Biden not racist? The same goddamn decrepit old devil Peckerwood that said that black people always, all they can do is be huddled in the ghettos like a bunch of fucking roaches. This Joe Biden. Now, he didn't say this shit last year. Duh. We're in a new damn time frame. See, this is what James Foreman, the former one of the former key organizers in SNCC, who was one of the influencers who brought H-Rap, Imam Jalil El-Amin, formerly known as H-Rap Brown and Kwame Ture and those to merge into the Black Panther Party for self-defense, to get them two on the same page. He's one of the influencers in there, Mr. James Foreman. James Foreman said what being a revolutionary is knowing what time you are in and knowing what to do in that time. That's a revolutionary. A revolutionary ain't going back thinking he in the 60s. Right, you going down the damn jokers on their iPhone and their Android. What's happening, my man? Can you dig it? Motherfuckers? People ain't talking like that no more. You got to know what time you in and what to do in that time. So, of course, Joe Biden not going to get on the TV and make a statement to a press that he mentioned way back in the 70s and 80s. He ain't going to say that shit now because they got to paint a villain for you. And I ain't saying Donald Trump is not a villain or whatever, but none of these people have our interests in mind. I don't give a damn, hey, Democrat or Republican. It don't make no damn difference. Okay? So, but we don't understand it because we don't understand that it's not, the critical race theory is incorrect. We're feeding into the critical race theory. When we think the only time racism is when somebody call you a nigga or when a black person don't get a goddamn award. Oh, yeah. They should have gave my nigga what? They should have gave Denzel 5 awards or what the fuck ever. Your favorite actor to get awards, so fucking what? That's a minute. That ain't even got no, that ain't even, that's automatically gonna happen. But we talking about racism as the institutions that found it when African people were snatched up and brought here for capitalist imperialist interests, right? So that's what we're talking about. But if we want to challenge the critical race theory and all these public food systems that our children are brought up in, if we want to make a challenge to that, we need to challenge it. But it's going to start with us. Ain't no damn Democrat going to have your child knowing about history from a real analysis where they feel it internalized. See, Carter G. Woodson internalized all those stories he got from those elders in the coal mine. He internalized, that's why you had the Journal of Negro History that existed even 30-some years after he had passed, you see? So anyway, Yeah,
Man, that was deep. You talked for 20 minutes, man. That's deep. That's
I
deep,
talk
man.
too
I,
much.
I
That's what
just
that means.
no, you good. No, you good. This I just got a few questions, on my end of it, but definitely some good insight on Carter G. Woodson. If you're not familiar with who Carter G. Woodson is, go ahead and look him up. And there'll be some interesting details, some of the information that Eric just stated. And obviously, Eric did state some more intimate details from his research as well. So that's the reason why we do this platform and have these types of conversation. And even amongst quote unquote the so-called conscious groups, although they do exist, we're still having an even more so intimate conversation as it relates to how all of this came to be, because history is important to have us understand though why we in the position that we in. So I say that all to say that's the whole basis of this platform. And even if we only get a handful of views or whatnot, that's information that we was able to put out before the world, and that's the most important part. Uh, my question to you, as it relates to Carter G. Woodson, um, in terms of the book, The Miseducation of a Negro, I know you mentioned it once or twice. Um, when was the first time you seen it, read it, heard about it, and how did you feel after you read such a historic book?
Yeah. Shit. I mean, I'm guessing the first time I heard about it or read about it was from Pan African Connection here in Dallas. Because that's when I started on my journeys when I ran into them. When you introduced me to Ancestor Bandeli Chayimba and Equate. I mean, that's the only time. I probably didn't read it right then, but I read it some years later. I mean, in the early mid 2000s or something like that. Uh, but when you read Miseducation and it deals into, you know, what has been left out, things of that nature, and you start to think, you start to, you know, analyze what's being said, you really just feel naked. You feel naked. You feel like it's like when you throw all your clothes away and shit, either they don't fit or they just ugly or whatever. They out of style or whatever the fuck. You like, man, I need to get rid of them. And you just give them away to people or you do whatever with them, throw them away, rip them up. And now you like, damn, I done get away, I done throw away all my clothes. Now I need some new stuff. So it's like you feel naked, like, okay, I need to put on some new clothes now. You know what I'm saying? And so you just feel naked, like either you throw away all your clothes or somebody just ripped them off. You know what I'm saying? Type thing. Like it just been, what you thought was for you wasn't for you. So the clothes you thought they was looking nice and fitting right, you had to throw them away, and now you got to put something else on. Now you got to put real knowledge on. You got to have a real expectation. You see what I'm saying? And so that's how I feel about it. Shit, I was naked, like, oh shit, this is what we doing here in in the great United States, the country of no dictators and democracy and peace and love for all cultures and group of people. This is what we doing here. This is kind of shit, And so, but when you have a real, true historian dropping dimes and facts, ain't nothing you can do about it but regroup yourself. Just regroup. You got to regroup. You got to, you got to regroup in the mind and in the spirit and in the body. You got to regroup. You got to be like, all right, let's get on. Let's get to the real deal. It's been exposed, it's been talked about. Let's delve into what the real deal is. He already exposed it, he already broke it down for you. Let's take it further than what was broken down. And that's how I feel that reading that piece.
Okay, good, good, good. I was just curious as to kind of what your thing was, and as you stated, I have not read the entire book, but I've definitely known of the book and read excerpts of the book, and I always felt that if I've always been a person that likes to study history, and so
Right.
I think that that's the flavor that I got when I read the Miseducation of a Negro, and I think I want to say, and it may be a stretch. I want to think I seen it in like a high school library or something. I could be
Oh
wrong.
yeah, I may have seen it. I may have seen it in a public library. I don't think I seen it in no high school library.
You don't think so? Okay, maybe I'm
You
wrong.
could you could have. You roamed the high school halls like this shit. I was ready to get up out with that bell rung. I'm on. When that bell rung, I was out of there. Shit. So I'm sure when I see it, it was either at PAC or it was at the public library. Cause we used to, we used to go there all the time at that time. Yeah, it was one of the two. It wasn't that David W. Carter. I mean, maybe like I said, you could have saw it, Carter. I didn't see it 'cause I wasn't even in there. Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So one of the quotes from Carter G said, "At this moment, then the Negro must begin to do the very thing which they have been taught they cannot do." And that made me think about. I mentioned this to somebody at work. I'm always trying to stir up trouble, but somebody said, "Yeah, that's what you." We were talking about something to do with the city or maybe with something else, but if people say, "Well, yeah, that's what you just gotta, you know, you understand," and you know, the things that I cannot change, just don't worry about it. I would tell her, I said, now, I said, I love that quote, please let me understand whether you call it God, creator, whatever you got, Allah, Allah, whatever. Give me, give me the strength to understand the things I cannot change, that quote. And I like it, it's good, it makes sense. Because, that's one of the ways we suffer in life is that we worry about shit and we really can't control it. So it brings suffering into our psyche, into our life. However, I always mention to people, it's more shit that you can change than you want to give credit for. Right? Most shit in life you can actually do something about. Is the shit that you can't do nothing about is actually on a smaller percentage. We look at it like it's on a bigger percent. No, 80% of what you see, you can't change. No, 80% is what you can't. Well, 80% of what you see, you can change. 80% of what you see, the reason you in the 80% is because you had to participate. Everything that happens into our life, everything that happens in life is we have to have our own participation. There's no not 100% of anything that's gonna ever happen to you that you didn't have any participation in. That's universal facts. And so we have participated in our own downfall in many arenas because our lack thereof of participation in the alternative. And so when people say, it's just something, you just gotta understand that, you can't change. Some things you can't change. Well, some of the stuff that we talking about on an everyday basis with the average working class, black or brown, whatever person, we can change it. We can do something about it, right? But the less you understand about what's going on, and the less you understand about yourself, is two things: understanding the politics of the world and understanding yourself. You understand those two things, you will have the confidence to do more than what you're doing. But if you don't understand the politics of the world, you don't understand your own self, it's gonna look like you have the power to change not a damn thing. Right? The most you think you're gonna be able to do is go cast some damn vote for two crazy peckerwoods in some damn office. That's the only thing you think you're gonna change. But it's more than that in life we can change. We can change a whole bunch of things. There are some things we don't have power over. And you can't change. It's way across the other half of the other part of the world. You can't do nothing about it, not in that moment. But some things that happen that's around you that's going on, you have the power to. If you don't have the power to change, you have the power to influence. And so that's just what I think about when I think about that quote from Carter G. Woodson.
Wow, wow. Kind of not to change the subject too much, but I just have to make mention, and I talked about it a little bit before we jumped on here. Today is what, February 21st. So if you know anything about history, and we are discussing Black history, today is I'm not sure exactly what number we on, but today is obviously the anniversary of the assassination of El Haj Malik El Shabazz, otherwise known as Baba Malcolm X. And I just wanted to reflect on that. as far as his assassination, etc., because it's definitely something that, even though we wasn't around at that time, that has definitely had an impact on our perception of the world. What you in hindsight, do you have any kind of words of reflections on the assassination of Malcolm X, and as far as what it means to us as a people um, to at least acknowledge the assassination, I should say?
Uh, yeah, yeah. We don't want. That's a who wants to ponder on that? I mean, it's just a reality of something that happened. But yeah, man. But the thing is that just to notice about. I mean, the assassination happened February 21st, 1965. Out of our ballroom now on Broad Street in New York is the Betty and Malcolm Shabazz Center in New York. Uh, and that's amazing. Something that was turning that was something that was so tragic was turning into something that people can come and you know commemorate, do events, and expose, and meet people and share ideas and experiences things of that nature. That's a great thing. Some people who was witnesses to it, at once said they would never come back to that place. At least it's the Audubon Ballroom. They may have came back to what it is now, to the Shabazz Center, and did some speaking or had an invite or something like that. But I know, some of them had mentioned they never wanted to go back to that place ever again. And that that's definitely understood. A place where one of our great young leaders was assassinated. And but that was the time that we win. We it's the same thing now, but back then we had a way of speaking for ourselves and only us speaking for us. In fact, in that era, we had we were able to speak for ourselves and had the media speak for us as well. It was indirect, but they did it. And I'm saying that, just as the media thought they were making Malcolm X a villain, they weren't making, all they were doing was making young people, the young people who would eventually be in SNCC, the young people who would eventually be in RAM, Revolutionary Action Movement, the young people that would eventually be in the PGRNA, the Republic of New Africa, all the people that would be, the young people that eventually grow up to be in the Black Panther Party and the Black Panther Party for self-defense. All it was doing was influencing and encouraging those people to be who the hell they were. That's all it was doing. But they thought they was making this man a villain. They thought they were pinning him against Martin Luther King. You got this man that's crazy. He want violence. He want everybody to fight and shit. Then you got the father of peace, who we love so dearly. He's such a great man. He wants everything to be peaceful. Meanwhile, you have this other crazy guy. He wants everybody to pick up guns. And he ended up, you assassinated both of them. So what was your point? But, the reason I say, that's the reason I say today, we had the ability to speak for ourselves and have the media speak for us as well. Even though people feel, some want to critique some Malcolm, not just of the Nation of Islam. Some of them were doing it just because they were just, as we say these days, hating, or they had some jealousy and envy in their heart of that. He may have overdid it with the media. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to, maybe he just like to hear his perspective so much that he may have overdid it with the media and things of that nature. However, him overdoing it allowed young people like me and yourself, 30 some plus years later, what I'm saying, we got him on a damn on a CD with damn hip hop beats behind him talking. You see what I'm saying? Had he not overdone it, we would have had little small inserts and shit, and he wouldn't have influenced us. But we have documentaries, we got video, we got his speeches on damn CD mix with some of the best hip hop instrumentals you could think of, with Malcolm powerful words speaking on them. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm not saying the critique isn't valid, but I'm just saying, yeah, he did. That may be a critical analysis that he wanted to overdo it with. He may have been feeling himself a little bit more. But however, most of what he said makes sense, and it made sense in 1963 and 4 and 5, and it made sense in 2005 and 2025. It's gonna make sense. And so, and so but during this era, we have to be careful. But our people, like I say, who don't understand critical race theory because they so busy looking for some damn white teacher that they call some child a nigga, as opposed to looking at these documentaries and these movies that are coming out. Some of this stuff is written and orchestrated by our own black people, right? Okay, like Genius, the MLK at X, that's on Hulu. I ain't watched it yet. I should have, Jared and Kamal were talking about on Black Power Media, but I should have checked it out. I wanted to check it out before I even heard them talk about it, which I didn't. I still want to see it, but the thing is, I know when I see something, I know I'm gonna be the first thing gonna catch my eye is the contradictions. And I look at theatrical shit from theatrical too. I look at it from, okay, was this well put together? Is the acting great? Do I like it as a movie? There's a lot of times the answer is yes. But I'm also looking about, okay, what are they trying to fix here? What is the premise? What are the premise they trying? What are their analysis they trying to bring out that they want to tap in people's subconscious about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King's life and individually, as well as them both together and during that period, right? And so Genius and all these other films, One Night Miami, which was fucking trash. Man, I thought that was one show. I thought I was gonna like that shit for some reason. I must have been, I don't know what was. I must have been drunk when I saw the first trailer. I know you ain't never. You ever watched One Night Miami?
I seen part of it.
Oh, you did? Man, what you think about that?
They trying to make Malcolm X to me look like Jim Brown or whoever the other dude who he's playing Sam Cooke, like Sam Cooke was checking that nigga or something. That's
Oh, no, you mean James Brown? Yeah, you talking about the guy? Yeah. What's his damn name? I forget his name. But yeah, the one that played James. Yeah. But Jim Brown. That's what you talking about. Yeah, yeah. That was one of the first things I noticed too. Yeah. You did. Yeah, that was damn well. As tough as Jim Brown was, he wasn't gonna check no Malcolm. Not in the way they portrayed in that movie. But yeah, that's true. That's what happened. Then they had Ali pissed off at him in the middle of nowhere. Oh man, which Ali was mad at Malcolm for a while. That's because he was a loyalty to the nation. He was only 20 some years old, early 20s. You got captains and shit influencing you about Malcolm, all this shit. But it's just the way that they portrayed all this shit. They had Malcolm cursing like he was a nigga. And I ain't saying Malcolm, but anybody, Louis, Farrakhan to tell you, Malcolm wasn't no cursor like that. But they had him talking all crazy. And all of these things is to come up with this concept that I hate when they come up with this bullshit. This concept of humanizing our heroes. They already fucking humanized. They got goddamn wives and daughters and sons and grandchildren. That's humanized the fuck enough. You know what I'm saying? They went to regular everyday restaurants. They ate with the people. They walked among the people. See what I'm saying? That humanizing them enough. Why do you need a damn stupid ass movie to come in with this dumbass analysis, playing these weird ass roles? They're trying to come up with this we're human now. We're human now. Just like Selma, when they had when they had Coretta Scott playing the tape for Martin when he was with the other ladies. People already, that was a foregone conclusion. We already know Martin, he did what he did, but so the fuck what? Why are you putting it in this film? To humanize him? He was human enough. Shit. What wasn't human about him? Shit. You know what I'm saying? But, this attempt to humanize our heroes or whatever the phrase they want to use, it's just stupid, man. And but they got an agenda, but we are not picking up on the agenda, not saying me and you, but a lot of our people are not picking up on the agenda because they just don't happen to see radical stories on TV. But a lot of this shit is being manipulated and turned into something that it's not. And you looking at that like this is what it is. Oh, I ain't no Malcolm Drucker. I ain't no Malcolm Drucker Bud Light when he was talking to Martin. And they can put it on the film and you'll believe that shit if you don't know history. That's why you know history. So you will know when you see bullshit, when you see real shit. That's why I tell people all the time. The reason why I critique shit I see on TV and you don't is because you looking at it because it's on face value, right? But ain't no damn face value with no damn media. This the same goddamn media that told you that the Black Panther Party was the greatest threat, the all this old shit to the internal security of the United States when they had more social programs than the goddamn government with billions and trillions of dollars. The same is called Malcolm a demigod and a prevail violence and all this shit. Even called Martin Luther King a dangerous man. It's the same damn media that did this. See what I'm saying? So when we talk about these things, you know, they can put any damn thing in the film and people believe this shit happened. Oh, since it's 2024, oh, okay, so they showing Malcolm, he hit that blunt one time with one of, you know what I'm saying? He hit a blunt one time and got upset. And I ain't saying this shit is in this film I'm talking about. It ain't in there. But I'm just saying that they do these things. They build these narratives and they put these things in there. It's just a bunch of writers and producers putting shit in there that they feel about these people. And they want to put this premise on the masses. They want to force this shit. But history already told us what Malcolm and Martin was about. And those who understand it because we were either firsthand, we was there, or we are the seeds or the cubs of that generation, and we are in tune with what happened and what's going on in the world. So we understand what was going on. But you want to bring some other analysis out, like, you know, it's just false, you know. And so they do these with these films. And it's an ongoing attack on our history. It's always to dumb this shit down and nail it down a little bit. See, Malcolm apologized, you know, he did say he loved you. You know, they put all kind of shit in these films. And, you know, and people get to believe in this shit. You know what I'm saying? And, oh, see, Malcolm said Martin was correct. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm said he was actually high at the time he talked about Martin. You know, just all kind of shit these people be saying in these films, and they insinuate this. You know what I'm saying? Then they put a little mix, a little drop of radicalism in it. And you thinking you good. See, people like us, me and you, when we see that shit, oh, they about to go into this. Then 2 seconds later, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they about to talk about that. Oh, fuck. You should have known. We should have known they weren't going to elaborate on the most important part. Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. You seen King of Harlem?
King of Harlem. King of Harlem? Oh,
Godfather. Yeah. They got Malcolm and what's his name?
Bumpy. Bumpy Johnson.
They got Malcolm and Bumpy hanging together every day.
Yeah. They got sipping coffee and talking about the streets and the nature. They talking about the holy world and the damn streets all in one. Yeah. You
talking like that just made me think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, they got all kind of shit going on. You know what I'm saying? They got the nation looking all crazy. Elijah Muhammad taking tips from MGT and shit. You know. he got MGT watching Malcolm and shit. All he gotta do is
watching MGT watching Malcolm.
Yeah, he mentioned one of the MGT. I don't know if it was Lise, which is Bumpy Johnson's daughter. I don't know if it's her or somebody else, but he's telling them, I want you to check out Malcolm and, tell me what's happening. I'm like, why the fuck? Anybody that know the structure of the nation, they don't know that ain't how that shit work. Then they got people chained to a bed. And I like the Godfather Hall. To be honest, I like it as far as film, as far as just straight film, I like the shit. But the historical, you know what I'm saying? They got people chained to beds and shit. You gonna stay on this bed to get off this crack, all this old shit. You know what I'm saying? But this is what I'm saying. People are watching this kind of shit thinking that, because it's 2024, I'm getting the truth when I get it on TV. They show the truth everywhere. You can think that shit all you want. They show the truth everywhere. No, the hell they don't. It don't benefit them to show the truth everywhere. I don't give a damn if Tyler Perry. I don't care if it's Pionell Joseph. I don't care whoever the fuck these goddamn black writers are. You cannot take this on face value and think for a moment that they gonna put the 100 correct radical. Now, if they do, kudos to them. We'll show that shit. We'll do a film showing on that shit and have teenagers and college students at the shit. But hey, it's not likely they're gonna have the true radical presentation of these individuals in these films. Not 100%. They're gonna distort something. It's always been done. It's been done in most movies you done saw. It ain't not on 100%. When they did with Malcolm, they always leave out the pandemic. They always leave out the historical, the international, Malcolm's international politics. He's going over and staying and say with Sekou Touré and being with Kwame Nkrumah and what's his name? God damn it. Not Omar Wally. What the hell his name ain't Babu. Yeah, Babu Muhammad. See, people don't even know what happened with that. See what I'm saying? All these places, Southeast Africa, we going to places, building with these people, building relationships, coming back to Harlem and coming back to the United States, talking this international politics of collectivism between Africans in the diaspora, Africans on the continent, Africans in the Caribbean. These serious relationships. They assassinated Babu Muhammad. They assassinated him not too long after Malcolm. See what I'm saying? This is a person who outright said he support radical movements in the United States. This is for our fundamental, what is this shit called? The fundamental Black American movement. This is for them. They talk all this about, oh yeah, all this old stuff about, they got y'all, we got cats on TikTok and goddamn other social media platform talking all this shit about, their original name is Chief Littlefoot, and they ain't got nothing to do with Africa, and these niggas don't like us when they come over here. They don't care about our politics and shit like that. But we go back into the history and seeing the FBI and the CIA documents where African people on the continent were linking up with African people from America to create an international stance, an international basis. History is showing us this shit. You can go back and start talking all the shit you want. I don't give a damn. All this all we against them, and I'm only concerned about reparation for Black people. Guess what? So we look here. Liberation comes first, goddamn it. Now you can talk all the shit you want. No, it's economic. We got these goddamn investment groups. We got all these economic Einsteins and shit. Oh, we even got people casted, get a lot of views talking about going in front of teenagers talking about, oh, the biggest threat to us ain't even fascism. Are you out your goddamn mind? Fascism is not a threat to the next generation of Africans. Are you out your damn? Who the hell would say some shit like that? Fascism is not even a threat. Well, what the hell is it? It's because you broke. That's a threat. I mean, because you got some money. People get all this confused. These people are dictating how money is used. But you got these money making nuts and all these people. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the economic. You gotta get your money right first. Well, guess what? All the goddamn people at the All-Star game that was wearing their goddamn East and West jersey got money. You understand? But ain't none of them have made a contribution to our community. You know why? Because they don't got the damn politics. You can have billions of dollars all goddamn day. If you don't control your politics, if you don't control how money is used, first of all, we got to understand this. When you're dealing with anything in the material world, when you're dealing with materialistic stuff, materialism, everything begins with the abstract concept. So it begins with the thought. So we don't understand that anything you do, how it is viewed is going to dictate how it is used. Right? So we talk about, oh, money this, money that. It's an economic war. You got all these cats, the boys, walkers, all these weirdos. All these cats run around. It's an economic war. You gotta get. What the hell are you talking about, fool? You can go to any CIA document. You can go to any FBI goddamn document. All the people, everything they target. They don't got nothing to do with money. You think Kwame Ture had $1 billion? You think Malcolm X died penniless? You see what I'm saying? Now, in fact, as Joe Henry Clark mentioned, when the cats in the Middle East, not just the heads of state, but like the dignitaries and the lobbyists in the Middle East were trying to give Malcolm $2 million to lead the nations up and represent Islam with them, he turned it down and came back to all. See what I'm saying? But he still was a target of the government. So why wasn't the people offering him a target with all the goddamn money? So we don't understand that how you when we talk about changing this dynamic, this parasitic relationship, those who have not, we're trying to change the thought pattern. We're trying to take away the profit motive, the motivation of how people see money and finance and economics and politics and science and technology and education. That's what Carter G. Woodson talking about. We got to change how we view education, how we view history. It ain't about no goddamn money. Because as long as you view money as that, you got to catch up to these Europeans. Guess what, Einstein? Your ass ain't catching up. You're not catching up to the person who brought you here for their own interest. You 300 years behind, fool. So you mean to tell me, you talking about this generational wealth, your son, your 5 sons, or how many ever the fuck it is, 5 sons, your 8 nephews, your 2 daughters, your 3 grandchildren, all of them gonna be involved in this generational wealth shit you talking about? Ain't none of them gonna work at McDonald's. Ain't none of them gonna work at Walmart. Ain't none of them gonna work at UPS. They all gonna be top tier investors. They all gonna be real estate. They all gonna be big money grabbers. And all of a sudden, we gonna catch up to Europeans and all the black capitalists have arrived. No, that ain't how that shit work. It ain't worked yet, it ain't gonna work. So we gotta understand is how we viewing economics, how we viewing money, how we viewing science and technology. That's what's gotta change. Our understanding of how we looking at it, how we can make it for the greater good of the collective. Not just, oh, you gotta get your money first. No, politics come first. Politics come first. Really, spirituality comes first. But I'm just saying it's in a materialist way. In the materialist world, your politics and understanding and your premise that you living off of, that comes before any goddamn thing. You see what I'm saying? Because how you view something is going to tell us how you're going to treat it, how you're going to present it to the world. So all of these things, the people are talking about, yeah, man. But that's where the piece, that's why I mentioned it to talk about that's why I mentioned do we want reparations or liberation? Because right now we always focus on getting something, but we never focus on sacrificing for something. We never focus on what are we gonna earn, what are we gonna push for, what moves are we gonna make. We always want something to give, or how much money can I get from this? Everywhere you go, we're chasing something. You see what I'm saying? With Carter G. Woodson and Malcolm, they were on a whole nother move, and a lot of us have been on a whole nother move, but we got to have a correct historical analysis based on study and research to understand when we see stuff in film, when we see shit in the paper, on the news. You see what I'm saying? To understand, okay, what is this really about? That don't mean you can't check it out. Check it out. Go watch Genius. Go watch MLKX. Go watch it. Go check it out. But you need to do your research before and after to understand. You get understanding of. So you ain't just watching this on face value. You say, "Oh, this is history. I know history now." No, you don't. That little 2 hour. Well, it's more. I think it's a 6 or 7 part series. I thought it was just like 2, but four. I guess I was misinformed, but I misunderstood. So yeah, whatever. 6, 7 part series. Well, it could be 100. That's not enough to break down analysis of what what all this come from and what is geared toward and what it's really about.
Wow, this has been a deep conversation here on Carter G. Woodson, Malcolm. Now, I want to tell folks that that me and you knew his grandson as well, or we met his grandson on a couple of occasions.
Yeah.
And speaking about I'm talking about Malcolm Luther King, I think he won 19. Uh, he's now he's transitioned, if you will, and he died rather young. Malcolm Latif Shabazz, the grandson of Malcolm X. But we had a few times with him, and I know one of the things about him was that he was trying to struggle as far as keep showing that he was one of those that was trying to follow the legacy of his grandfather.
Right.
As hard as that is, and as much bigger shoes as is that
Right.
it was at the time. I guess I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
ask you, it's, in terms of sort of absolving him. I think, and at least from my perspective, absolving him. Do you think he had? Do you think he was going in that direction, or what do you think about Malcolm Latif Shabazz, the time grandson of Malcolm X?
Yeah. The universal truth in some things is that, well, it's the universal truth in all things, but from that standpoint, it's always been said in many books and doctrines that you only you not even say you only as good, but you are an extension of the 5 to 7 closest people in your circle. And I think that he struggled to have a consistent core of people in his circle that would have really expedited the process of him transitioning from what he was to being in the line of what his grandfather was. Do I believe he was attempting to make that happen? Yes, I do. Do I think he was really there yet? No. He still had some shortcomings because of this he had to work on. Of course, we all do, but I'm saying he still was struggling between transition. Some of us had already made certain transitions that we were trying to lead him toward and help him get to, from a non-liberal standpoint, right? From being a constructive standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Being foundational and structural well, I should say principled with it, right? And I'm not saying he was this or that, but I'm saying that, I feel that he still was struggling with one side and the other. But he was definitely making at the end when he was, at the end of his life before he was murdered in Mexico, he definitely was trying to get into that realm, get into that spirit. Otherwise, he wouldn't have ran into jungles like us. You know what I'm saying? When years before that, we weren't thinking about him, he wasn't thinking about us. You know what I'm saying? To be quite honest, you know, and so yeah, and so but and so yeah, but I think he was gravitating towards that. He just wasn't there yet. He was still struggling. Like I say, trying to get into the right circles. Still try to uphold and get to the Islamic circles. The Islamic circles, they were spoiling him much more. And I hate to use that word, but it's kind of realistic the way I'm using it from what I know from what I know firsthand is that the Islamic world, spoiled him a little bit more or catered to him a little bit more than the black, nationalist, Pan-Africanist, radical community did, although him, from his attempt and from the attempt of the radical movements, they were both trying to make this way to each other, right? Like, okay, let's listen, let's go to him speaking and things like that, and let's get his young brother a chance as Malcolm grandson. We love the history of his grandfather and what he meant to us. And, let's see what he's about. We don't necessarily want to let his last and ending legacy be that he partook in the eventual murder of his grandmother, Dr. Betty Shabazz, due to a certain degree of burns that she had due to the house fire. We don't necessarily want to just see it as that. Let's give him a chance and let's gravitate toward him a little bit. And in his mind, he was saying, let me gravitate toward him a little bit. Like I say, but the Islamic community, because of who his father, great father was, they catered to him a little bit more. And they may have had an agenda in doing so. You know what I'm saying? Just like they had an agenda and grabbing hold to his grandfather and offering him certain things and all of that in the Middle East, you know what I'm saying? But it's not for me to say that all of the Islamic community or the Muslim community were trying to do that. It's not for me to say, I don't know, but I know that they catered to him, and they didn't act, they didn't act towards him based off the fact that he was a part of the death of his grandmother, as opposed to us. We were, and I'm not saying me and you and Saida and Trey and others who met. I'm just saying other people, they kind of looked at it with that side, like, okay, I know what you done. We love Dr. Betty Shabazz. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't just love Malcolm, we love your grandmother. We gonna give you a chance. Let's see what you about, type thing. And maybe if the community had gravitated towards him a little bit more, and maybe if he had shown himself, maybe if he wasn't so busy doing what he was doing on the other side of what he was doing, maybe if he wasn't on the other side of the fence, doing what he do, and he stepped up a little bit, or was encouraged to do so, and we gravitated toward him, maybe he would have been at that level a little sooner. But he was definitely not there as of yet when he was murdered in Mexico.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just wondering about what your perspective on that may have been. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. As it relates to Carter G. Woodson, Malcolm X, any of those figures, any closing thoughts on those two individuals?
Yeah. Malcolm, man, we've been talking about Malcolm for a long time. I got a painting right here that got Malcolm on above here. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of people on here. Tubman, Muhammad Ali. He even got Nipsey on here. Nipsey Hussle. Got it from a great artist, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But yeah, man, it's always he was a man like everybody else. He was in this material world. You know what I'm saying? And having an experience of life school like we all do. He had errors, stuff that I think Malcolm should have did better. It's stuff that I disagree with, the way he did something, but his critique of this society, his analysis, and a lot of stuff he said and mentioned and was a part of was on point. He was an organizer. People look at it like he just talked. I even remember going back to, I just made me think about going back to the Godfather All. At one point, Bumpy was frustrated with some shit, right? And Malcolm, he met Malcolm at one of the little cafes and shit. And Malcolm was giving Bumpy a perspective he didn't want to hear him. Bumpy said, man, you know what? He said, man, I respect what you're doing, but right now I don't want to hear that shit. And you know what, man? All you do is talk. That shit was fun. I said, damn, come on, man. I said, come on, Bumpy. He said, all you do is talk, man. You talking right now. As to say, Malcolm, you got some real shit going on, but at the same time, you just talking right now. I'm about this action. You just talking your minister shit. But, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes that's perspective that people get. Maybe those who wrote the script or whatever. But in reality, Malcolm was an organizer. Dr. King was a mobilizer. Malcolm X was an organizer. He organized in the streets. You organize in the streets and transform his life. But he was an organizer. That's how the nation got to be how they are. And I'm not saying his first teacher, Elijah Muhammad, well, his second teacher, his first teacher was his father, you know what I'm saying, Earl Little. Him and his mother was Garveyites who was in the movement, not just making speeches. You know what I'm saying? His mama was pushing the propaganda. She was a propagandist. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Miss Little was a propagandist. She wasn't just sitting back, whooping Malcolm in the ass. Get in your room, No, you know what I'm saying? Yelling at Earl. They were organized, you know what I'm saying? And so, his second teacher, Elijah Muhammad, is that, not saying he didn't do nothing. He's the structure. He the whole basis and the foundation of Islam. You can't even question that. But Malcolm, how they got to developing all these mosques and these young captains and these young ministers and stuff. Malcolm trained them and organized them, taught them what to look for, taught them the do's and don'ts, gave them, showed them a moral example. You know what I'm saying? So he was an organizer, man, and in him outside of the nation, if he'd have lived longer, of course, we all would have saw how organized he was. I think one of my critiques, and not just really of him, but it's just one of my critiques of his last days, at least his last year and a half or so, is that we can get caught up in the cult of personality, which we always talk about. Saying is that you can get caught up in having a whole bunch of yes men behind you. You know what I'm saying? And that's just true. You know what I'm saying? A whole bunch of yes, sir, Malcolm. Yes, minister. The great Malcolm X. Shit like that. And so whatever Malcolm suggests, you're not even analyzing it. You're not saying, look here, minister, let's try this way. And I wasn't there. I'm not saying that didn't happen, but I'm looking at it like, bunch of yes men and shit like that, and people that sensationalize and what I'm saying, they just want to support you and stick by your side and type shit. But and Malcolm been given a chance to be surrounded by other key organizers, and to help him organize the next generation, because he organized the next generation from the ancestral realm. Some people say the grave. We don't say the grave. Grave is just where your body is laid, wrapped up in a cloth, as a Muslim. But we talk about it in the ancestral realm. Him guiding people from the ancestral realm. He organized a whole 2 generations of people just from the ancestral realm. Imagine what he could have done with certain kind of organizers and radicals that was actually standing side by side with him. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine what he could have done as an organizer. Not just an orator, but as an organizer. And that's what I think about Malcolm all the time. I always think about how it ended at that ballroom. I always, man, to be on some funny shit, I always think about, man, what if we was there? I always think about this shit. And there's no knock on the brothers who was there, who dedicated their life, who was at the OAU, none of that. But I always think about, man, if we was there, this shit have been lit. Like, man, we would have been, man, Malcolm would not have died on us. He would have not have died. I don't give a fuck if he wanted to die unless he shot himself. He would have not have been assassinated on our watch. I just always think about it, not in the egotistical, arrogant way. It's just our respect for our fellow comrades. Not even no code of personality, but our respect for our fellow comrades. And we wasn't there. Shit, maybe Malcolm would have been telling us, Khafre, whatever, just do what the hell I say. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just go, brother, I need you to do this. And we just going to do it. But, me thinking that, as somebody who's been in a leadership position myself, is just, I always think about, man, what if we was in that damn ball? Ain't no way in hell, get your hands out of our pocket would assassinate our brother when we was there. But I always think about that. But on a serious note, I always think about, what he could have done surrounded by key organizers and having time to do so and develop the next generation that came right after him and what they could have done together, not only in a national, but an international stage. And as far as Carter G. Woodson, I'm just going to end on here on one of his other quotes. If a race has no history, listen to this shit. If a race has no, I shouldn't use the word. If a race has no history, if it has no worthwhile tradition, fundamental Black Americans or whatever you want to call yourself, if it has no worthwhile tradition, it becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated. If a race has no history, it has no worthwhile tradition. Keyword, 2 keywords, worthwhile tradition, not this bullshit tradition. You know what I'm saying? Kill nigga food tradition. We ain't talking about that shit. Everybody trap stars and shit like that fucking over each other, taking Joker's girlfriend. We ain't talking about that shit. If it has no worthwhile tradition, it becomes a neglectable factor in the thought of the world. Not in the United States, in the thought of the world. It stands in danger of being exterminated. Just ponder on that. That's Carter G. Woodson talking this here. You don't want to hear it from Erick Sunday out of look here. That's Carter G. Woodson talking this. Listen to that quote and break it down and understand what he's saying. You have no worthwhile traditions. We're not talking about the enslaved tradition. I heard people feel this all the time when I tell them, a lot of the shit we practice over here is slave tradition. Oh no, dog, shit, we were doing this, my great grandma. Okay, yeah. But we gotta understand that everybody wasn't with Ted Harry Tubman. Everybody wasn't with Demar Vesey. Everybody wasn't with Nat Turner. Everybody wasn't with the abolitionists. Understand? We talking about the chattel slavery era. See what I'm saying? We gotta understand this. Some people just assimilated into the enslavement process, as we doing right now. Some of us assimilate. We got people crying during Super Bowls and shit. We got motherfuckers crying during Super Bowls, the national anthem and shit. I never know who sings it, because if I do watch it, when I do watch it, I always mute that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't give a fuck if my sister was singing the shit. That shit get muted. But that's if I'm watching it. But you know what I'm saying? But seriously, we still have this embedded in us. People, you know what I'm saying, who are infused in the enslavement in the capitalist imperialist fervor, right? And so We must understand that. So people think that some of these traditions they got go way back. No, 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 no. There is a such thing as a tradition of a free people and a tradition of enslaved people. They're just going along to get along and survive. I'm not saying is they wrong. We understand survival and our preservation, and we're not trying to always rock the boat. We try to take care of family. We got jobs. We got debt. School loans and shit. We try to relieve debt. We try to do a lot of the things that our top great black investors tell us to do. You know what I'm saying? But our money makers are telling us all these great things, and we want to do those things. I definitely understand. But yeah, just understand there is a way of thinking and acting of a free people, and there's a way of thinking and acting of enslaved people. And we must understand that when analyzing that quote by Carter G. Woodson.
Right on, right on, right on. Well, we appreciate you very much for coming on yet again and sharing this information to the platform and making sure we have a clear understanding of Black history. A little bit of talking about Carter G. Woodson, Malcolm X, Malcolm Latif Shabazz, and just kind of having a walk down memory lane a little bit. So yeah, we definitely appreciate it. Do me a big favor, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Please do share the information, subscribe. Who you talking to now? To do it at least in our city, and if not around in our generation. So check us out, look us up. We'll be talking soon. Peace, power, and prosperity. Like, share, subscribe.